You're listening to BS the podcast with
Benny Philhauer and Sal Zizzo. Enjoy.
Carlos was preparing to call Megan Rapinoe on stage.
Oh, yeah, can you believe that part?
Five more restaurants, walk right back, and he's like, "Oh, Arby's has this? Oh yeah, let's go eat here."
Welcome to BS the podcast. We're on episode 9, and we have World Cup champion Emily Sonnett coming on the podcast today. Very exciting.
Yeah, hopefully she gives us some inside scoop of what was going on in France and how they were able to come together as a team and block out all that noise.
Yeah, there was tons of pressure on them for being not only the best team in the world, but also all the added pressure that they got from celebrating against Thailand, saying they weren't going to come to the White House, yada, yada, yada. We will find out about all these stories and how it kind of, felt to be in that group during the World Cup with Emily. And so we'll ask her about that. We'll also ask her about, once they did win the whole thing, all their celebrations that they had. That was also very public with some of the videos that came out after the tournament. And we'll try something new as well. None of us have ever played with Emily. None of us have grown up with Emily. So she's a little bit different than some of our past guests on the show. And so we'll do a little bit of quick hitters with some quick questions, and we'll get a little bit of a sense of, the kind of person that she is. Let's get her on the show. Here she is.
Emily, welcome. We got a lot of questions for you today. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good. Episode 9 is going to be a hit.
Good.
No doubt about it.
I like that energy right off the bat.
I think with the energy that we've gotten with the first 8 episodes, and then the energy that you're bringing yourself to this one, I feel bad for you towards the end of the episode here, because I think Ike's just starting to gain his rhythm, but we'll see how you do at the end of the episode.
Prayers up.
Looking forward to it.
Prayers up.
All right, so we're going to do something that we haven't done yet on an episode. This is the first time we've had someone on the podcast that we haven't ourselves personally either played with or known. So we're going to do a little bit of quick hitters, some quick questions, easy questions.
Get to know you a little bit.
Get to know you.
Cool.
Hopefully nothing throws you off balance too much. So here we go. I'm going to ask you what the better movie is out of these 3. I'll give you options, and you just give me what the best movie out of the 3 is.
Quick answers. You want quick?
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, you could think about it for a second, but they should be pretty quick. Later, Sal. All right, here we go. Better movie: E.T., Shawshank Redemption, or Frozen?
I've only seen one of the 3, so I'm gonna have to say Frozen.
Oh wow.
I know.
That's a bad answer, I think. I love Frozen, but you got to watch Shawshank Redemption and E.T. at some point. All right.
To be fair, that's a bad question, but go on.
All right. Better TV show: Breaking Bad, Stranger Things, or The Bachelor?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with Stranger Things.
All right, I like that.
I still haven't seen that actually. I need to watch that. I've heard a lot of hype about
dark stuff. You like dark stuff?
Yeah, is it?
Val's probably all caught up on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, though.
No, have you guys seen Love Island lately? Anybody watch that show?
Oh, stop it. Stop.
You guys. Hey, that's next level. I'm not even kidding. Watch that.
The producers of Stranger Things went to my high school. Fun fact. But anyway, go on.
All right. Love that. All right. Better artist: Justin Timberlake, Drake, or Taylor Swift?
Ooh. It might be a tie between Drake and Taylor Swift. Just because.
Really? Okay. I used to like Taylor Swift when she was country, but not so much anymore.
Yeah, we don't like the pop crossover too much, so maybe leaning towards Drake a bit.
Yeah.
All right, here's a little funny one, I guess. Better dancer: Rose Lavelle, Alex Morgan, or Emily Sonnett?
Not Alex.
We've seen videos, by the way.
Rose and I are a bit different. Rose is probably one of the best, funny freestylers. You can just hit the beat, and then I usually just copy Rose. So if it's a good day, me. If it's any other day, probably Rose Lavelle.
Okay. That's good.
All right.
I actually wanted to ask you this because I heard this through a friend of a friend. And
This is
I'd
how
like to
rumors
know-
get started.
These are
Benny.
usually pretty good.
Yeah.
I'd like to know if there was ever a dance festival in France during the World Cup and how that went. If there's any funny stories from that.
Yes, I think we were in. Maybe we back. I can't really say it. Reims. Do you guys know how to say that?
Ren?
No, it's definitely pronounced Reims.
Oh,
I don't know. It's Reims. And
Wait, the
there was-
Rennes?
Yeah, Reims.
Okay. What? Yeah. I
Wrong.
don't,
And we were a friend of a friend, might be right. There was a dance festival or like a music festival, and there's like it's going to go on all night. Ended up ending at like midnight, but I think a couple of us kind of scurried out, had like a normal moment, and let me tell you, it was like the streets were just filled with people with. There's French music. Drake was playing. People were just going nuts. So yeah, we may or may not have been navigating our way through down and back.
that was in between what games?
I think so. It's when we came back, so it might have been right outside of group play.
Okay. Nice. Going
Nice
into
little-
the
nice
going
little
into a
warm-up
do or
for the
die
knockout
game. You guys are
stages.
out there partying.
Yeah. Just keeping the legs loose.
I love that. Love it. All right, last one. Another one that I've heard from a friend of a friend. Better roommate, Kelly O'Hara or Mallory Pugh? And why, please?
Ooh, this is a toughie. They're both pretty bossy, and they both know that. But I think I can't answer this fully. But at the very end, we had a special rooming situation where there was a suite or apartment, and they put me, Kelly, and Mal together. So all three of us. It was like 2-bedroom, 1 bath. If we probably would have bought it if it was for sale, and let me tell you, it was a good time. We had to have. I think Kelly was like, we have to have lights off at 10 because we'll rile each other up. But
That never
can't
happened.
answer it. Yeah, that never happened.
Yeah.
I can't answer that fully. I think I'd be in trouble with.
What? Who was in
Warren
charge of the thermostat?
Miss Kelly.
Really? Is it cold or
Miss
is it
Kelly.
warm at night?
Oh, it is cold.
All right. Good.
Usually it's the cold people that really run the show when it comes to that. They're
Yeah, I think we all like.
under 70 degrees or I'm not sleeping in here.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
would not believe trying to keep 23 women happy and all on the same page when there was no AC and people were like fighting over fans, trying to ask who's got the fans, who's taking the fans. Fans are a big deal.
You stole the
Yeah,
batteries.
I believe.
That's crazy.
Benny, is your friend of a friend the same friend, a private investigator?
I don't know who the private investigator is.
Your friend of a friend who knows all these stories. I'm just curious who this friend of the other friend is.
He has
I
a
bet
lot of
Emily
friends.
could guess.
Ike, he has a lot of friends.
I bet Emily could figure it out. You think you figure it out, Emily?
The friend of a friend. I assumed it was Kelly, but I don't.
Yeah, Kelly's your friend. And then
Yeah.
who's my friend?
Bobby.
Bobby.
Don't know his last name.
Bobby Brown. No,
No.
That filters the search a little bit. Whoever this Bobby is.
Let me think about it.
I'll keep my PI for future questions. But all right, well that was our quick hitters. I think you started off a little bit rough with Never Seen Shawshank Redemption, but you've done well.
it's only my favorite movie, so yeah, no big deal.
Love it.
You got homework assignment now. All right, well let's get into the World Cup. Easier questions now. You guys first of all, congratulations. You guys won the World Cup. That is no small feat. Woo!
Yay.
Yay.
And you guys
a lot of max sprints, glute activation, and a lot of pancakes. I'll tell you.
All
that.
right.
you guys did it with so much stuff going on around you. I mean, some of it you guys brought on yourselves, and some of it just came with obviously being in the World Cup and being the best team in the world. And so one thing that I think all the outsiders realized or noticed was how well you guys did under pressure. And so my question to you is not the pressure itself, but I feel like almost you guys wanted that. That's what it seemed like to me. For example, like the first game where you guys won against Thailand and you guys had 13 different celebrations set up. It was almost like you guys had this pre-planned and you wanted all this controversy after. And I feel like it almost galvanized you guys, and you guys knew like that added pressure would cause you guys to play almost at a higher level. So I'm wondering if that was kind of almost pre-planned or if it was something that was natural, I guess.
I will say before, so I've been on the team, I think coming up like 5-ish years. So I came on right after their last World Cup win. And it's something I've noticed from the outside that they do love pressure. And then having been in and feeling and like what they kind of want like the younger players to kind of feed off of is getting that pressure. And kind of recreating that pressure, throughout our cycle up until to kind of get us ready for it. There is something I did do an interview and I was kind of like hats off to my teammates and keeping that, we did bring some of it on us, lawsuit, whatever. And, the list goes on, and we kept a really tight bubble and not letting media penetrate. And I thought our team, from the oldest to youngest, I think we did such a good job of keeping whatever inside the team and not letting outside distractions come in. I think that was probably the biggest part of keeping kind of like our heads on straight. And then I think what you're saying with like Thailand, I wish I could tell you that all those things were premeditated for the Thailand celebrations. One where there's so much controversy with that, but we were having a good time, and I think a lot of people don't realize, that the players who don't get to play, me being one of them, it's like, how can we be? Was it a little bit much? Yeah, I'll say it's a little bit much, but how can we kind of feed off their energy and give them more energy? Goal differential is a fact, comes into play, but no, I think we were just having a good time, and I think anyone said if you're having a good time, it kind of can get away from you a bit. But now looking back, I wouldn't change that, because I remember like that's like the best part is the celebrations, and like we got to play, we got to work, and that's that. Like we're not doing that in friendlies, which it would be completely disrespectful. And I think it's great that the team kind of came together and got to have like a celebrating moment with the players on the bench, with the players that were playing.
Yeah. Right.
I think that shows how tight knit you guys are, because I know, teams I've played on, when there is a lot of outside noise, if it's a good team, you really don't hear about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's there, but you're so focused on the task at hand that it just never even really gets brought up. You know what I mean? Like, maybe everyone thought you guys were playing with so much pressure, but maybe you guys didn't feel it as much. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like people, that's actually really, really good. I feel like people were like, some people were completely off social media. I think that's a good example. I kind of took a break from social media. I know Rose took a break from social media because I think it can get unhealthy. And like, there's so many ideas are pouring in. You just don't, maybe Twitter doesn't filter it out. And I think that was probably one of the best things that a lot of the girls did was limiting their social media or not having it. Cause I think someone went into like a interview. I thought it was really funny. And they were asking them, "Oh, were you guys expecting this pushback, this, that?" And their answers were just like, I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't been on social
pushback?
Media. Yeah.
That's good. Like, and that's good.
They were like, I have no idea. The team's doing great. We're in a great place. We're progressing. But I have no idea what you're talking about because I haven't been,
that's good.
on social media. Yeah.
So I this is my question from that is I feel like everybody senses, and I'm assuming knowing Megan Rapinoe would probably confirm this, that she's a really big personality, right? She's very comfortable with everything that she does and everything that she says, and she can be out there, and she has no problem being, under the limelight or under the microscope, I guess, when she says something. I guess my question is, and you don't have to name anybody, but was there ever like a sense within the team that some girls didn't feel as comfortable with some of those things, or was everybody just like fully on board with all that stuff, with everything that she says, from, all the political stuff and also the, just the added pressure that you guys did bring yourselves. And like you said, some of the girls like wanted to put some of the younger girls in that pressure situation to like really get them, I don't know, with that competitive feel,
feeling comfortable with feeling uncomfortable, basically.
Yeah. And I'm just wondering if some girls kind of went through that, or if it was really like just completely everybody on the same page, I guess.
No, I think we would have meetings, separate meetings, from the coaches, just the players, kind of being like, this is what we stand for, what's kind of like our philosophy, and like what can we do. One, I think just to push women's soccer, the investment, the equal pay, whatever. But I think as a team, and what I respect about this team a lot is even if we didn't, we're on the whole all on the same page as Pino or this person or that person. I think as a team being respectful and showing that support to whoever was what had to happen.
Yeah.
And will continue to happen, because if you're tight knit, ends up coming away at the seams at the inside. We talk about the bubble. If you start coming out from inside the bubble and it just won't work. So I think this team does an incredible job of, we come from different places, different backgrounds, but we support each other like to the day that we die. And that's, and taking that from, I think that's just like a big part of like the whole entire World Cup, and like how we supported one another in situations like that I thought was incredible that everyone got to get on the same page that way.
Yeah. I think that was I think you guys are talent wise the best team in the world, but I think that was the reason why you guys won the World Cup. I really do, because I feel like everything that could have potentially gone against you, you guys always
rose to the occasion every time
and worked together, and like everybody was, like you said, galvanizing through, whether it was Megan Rapinoe's words or actions or the teams or media, saying negative things and whatever. It just feel like you guys kept getting stronger and stronger through the tournament. It's like you said, if one person doesn't go the right way, then it just kind of comes undone. And it never happened, and it never came close to happening. So
I was actually pretty impressed with how quickly that all happened. Cause in obviously making an international like roster, there's so much movement in the cycle, and like, who's on the team, who's not on the team, who's on the inside, who's on the outside. So once the roster was named and having, less than a month to kind of be like, oh, this is the core group, because there was so much movement in our cycle. I was really impressed with, because being my first major tournament, I was an alternate for the Olympics. So being my first World Cup or first roster, I'm making how closely it all went like that. And I was just really impressed how professional it was, and how basically we all got on the same page, and it was literally like that. Like we were always a team, but once something's different, once a roster is named, now you're like, yes.
Yeah, this is the group. Let's go do this. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not like, oh, now I'm trying to fight.
Yeah.
For a spot anymore. No, This is the team. Now what is my role? My role is solidified. Now, how can I, for me personally, like, how can I be the best cheerleader? You know what I mean? To make the team successful, and how can I be the scout team? So it just, I was really impressed with how everyone kind of put that their self aside. Yeah. Because we knew that was going to be the ultimate goal for the whole team.
All right. Sal, I know you want to talk about Jill, right? Jill was actually the women's coach at UCLA when both of us played at UCLA.
Okay.
Yeah. And she just actually, she's leaving, obviously. Did you guys know that before the tournament, that this would be her last major tournament as the coach, or was it surprising, for the news?
No, I personally didn't know that she was going, like, this would be her last tournament. I think after we won, I think everyone kind of had that feeling. We were told obviously before it was released. But I think it was kind of just that feeling of like, this coaching staff had done so much, incredible amount of detail. Like,
they're just exhausted.
And I think having two different groups and having two winning formulas over the course of their time with, I'm not sure who else is going to be stepping down or whatever, but like, I feel like this coaching staff has gone through so much for just the amount of detail. It's just absolutely incredible. So having two different winning formulas and having to do it twice, I think takes away, from family, obviously their personal life. So yeah, I think obviously winning, a lot of coaches like to go out on top. Yeah. But that was, we didn't, I think she was supposed to go through the Olympics. I think people did expect that, but, I think winning 2 World Cups is a pretty good
enough.
It's a pretty good thing to say. Bye.
Yeah, and she's also someone that got I don't know if you know this since you guys weren't on social media, but she got a lot of, bad media as well in terms of whatever, making substitutions or starting lineups or whatever. And she's won 2 World Cups. And so I think she's similar to how you guys, were galvanized. She also kind of had, something to prove, I guess, and going out on top.
And all of her moves worked out on starters.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean.
All right. The last part of the World Cup that I definitely want to get into, which was my favorite part, because after all was said and done, after all the things that went on, you guys won the whole thing, and then you guys decided to just celebrate for a month straight and broadcast it to everybody, which I loved. So
some of us broadcasted it.
Well, first there's the broadcast of literally the locker room, right? Where we saw like Alex Morgan twerking and literally everybody else dancing. So wait, that was that Harris? Yeah,
Ashlyn Harris's Instagram story I think got picked up by a lot of people. She was ready.
Yeah.
But she must have expected
that was pre-planned. The celebrations weren't pre-planned, but that was.
I think that was.
My favorite part of Ashlyn Harris's story was when she asked Carlos about the equal pay on stage, and he was either oblivious and acted like he didn't hear it, or he honestly was just out of this world.
No, he was about.
The girls were wild. The girls were wild.
Yeah.
They were
I've got a few, and yeah. When they turn up, they turn up, and I respect that.
Carlos was preparing to call Megan Rapinoe on stage.
Oh yeah, can you believe that part?
No, I cannot believe it.
We were like,
I can. I believe anything these days. Nothing surprises me.
How many days did it take you guys to get sober after you won the World Cup? I'm pretty sure, based on the videos, Rose Lavelle is still drunk.
Today was the first day that she played 11v11.
Yeah. What did she weigh? Like
are you sober?
15 pounds. Yeah.
Are you sober on this podcast right now?
Yeah, barely. I thought what was the craziest part is that we did the parade in New York. We got back. We had the charter flight over. That was pretty fun.
Oh yeah, I heard about the charter flight from ESPN as well.
Oh yeah, and then we did the parade. Everyone was like, "Hey, no, we're not. We're gonna go do the parade, whatever." And then everyone started going, "Oh no, we need champagne." Okay, so we got champagne. We did the parade off on the ESPN charter to the SBs, and I think that's when everyone was like, either hitting a wall or ready to go again, because that was probably the most epic thing I'll ever do is leave a parade like that in New York, get on a charter flight immediately, literally went straight. I think we did makeup and hair on the plane, went dressed, maybe had less than an hour, and we walked half a football field to the Staples Center or wherever it was, and got there barely amount of time. Wow. It was nuts.
From my inside PI, I heard there was plenty of things missing.
Oh my God, this PI again. This PI again.
There was makeup missing. You guys were showing up there all didn't have the clothes right. Things were all out of whack, and you guys were walking into the SBs at a .20.
BAC.
I think the only mishap, girls, we got to have our hair done, and I think the charter that they had didn't have plugs.
Oh man!
So, that's what it was.
We couldn't get
no plugs. Oh man!
There's no curls for the girls.
Oh wow!
But it ended up working out. It was it was a lot, but it was fun. We had to do it.
That's awesome.
Nice.
All right, Sal. Any other questions before we move on to the hard stuff?
No. I know. So you grew up in Marietta, Georgia, right?
Yes.
What part of Marietta? I played on Atlanta United last year, so I lived in Smyrna for a year, right by Market Village.
Not
far from you.
Yeah, my parents live near Marietta Square.
Oh, I know where that is.
I live down in Atlanta near Phipps.
Where's that? I don't know.
Plaza.
Oh, okay.
In Buckhead near Lenox
Oh, in
Mall.
Buckhead. All right, I know where that is.
That's where I lived, but my parents have lived there for 25 years. I think they love it. They'll never move. Yeah, it's great.
So you're from Georgia. You went to Virginia. And you've played for Portland your whole life, other than like a small loan to Sydney, right?
Small loan, yeah. 3 months.
It was short, right?
Yeah, it was short, very short.
So
Did you enjoy it there?
Yeah. I chose to go to Sydney when I was in and out with the national team for 5 months,
Okay.
and I was like, if I'm not getting called in, it'd be great to get games, confidence, whatever. A lot of Americans call it a paid vacation, going to Australia. So I said, what would I rather want? Doing 100-yard sprints in the snow or on the beach? And I picked up my bags. I went to Sydney. I came back twice for 2 camps unexpectedly.
Short flight.
But yeah, it was, I got tan, had avocado toast, and loved it. Yeah.
Nice.
Avocado toast. What? There's no avocado toast in the U.S.?
Vegemite sandwiches?
Listen. You haven't had avocado toast unless you've had it in Australia.
Really?
Unreal.
I've been to Australia. I don't remember having avocado toast. I'm gonna have to go back.
You gotta go back.
What has better avocado toast? The hipster area in Portland or Australia?
Ooh.
Wait, isn't all of Portland hipster?
Not necessarily, but a lot of it, yes. Where in Portland do you live?
I live pretty close to the stadium, just at Northwest District.
Northwest.
So
Al
not
played at
downtown,
Portland.
I was there 3 years. I actually had a food cart on a 9th and Alder. Yep, Zizo's FC it was called, but yeah,
I'm sure
as
you've
I
had
left that left, but it's an urban legend. It's a legend in Portland. So
if you want to pick it back up.
yeah, I know. I actually still get tweets about it, so it's pretty funny.
And it'll sell
Emily-
you a house.
Emily, who do you watch MLS?
Yeah. Well, I watch Atlanta and I watch Timbers.
Yeah, my two.
Are you a Portland fan, Atlanta, or I was going to say DC, which is kind of close to Virginia, I guess?
I would say I'm more an Atlanta fan because since they started 2 years ago, I was like, oh yeah, this is a team I could say from the beginning
Right.
I was a fan.
I think that's what everybody in Atlanta says.
Yeah,
That's why
I
they
think
have
that's
such
what
a good
everyone's-
fan
and
base.
and that's why I want to do it because Timbers won 2015,
Yeah.
and I would hate to just be kind of like I have some friends who are like, oh no, like I have my home, like say like girls from Colorado, but then like they're Timbers fans or they're DC fans, so like I want to try to have one allegiance. So yeah, the MLS Cup that was a hard one, but it was great to see Atlanta win, obviously.
Right. Well, either way, you were going to have one winner, so that's not bad. And my last question before you get into the worst questions possible is, have you listened to Jeff's and Zarek's podcast?
No, and I didn't know they had one until one of you told me.
Yeah.
And then I mentioned something to my friend. And I think I might have listened to a little bit because Jeremy.
Ebobise?
Jeremy on there. Yeah, and we know him a little bit, so I listened to a little bit of that. But maybe 5 minutes. I give you guys a good 45.
All right. We'll take that. And with that, Sal, anything else?
No, that's good. That's good.
Oh, man. I hate to do this to you, Emily, but you are now in the hot seat.
Love it.
And you are in Ike's interrogation. Ike, take it away.
Oh, Emily, I'm so sorry for you. You're a World Cup champion. I feel like I should call you my lord. But you went to UVA, so all bets are off. So
Love it.
Yeah. So the game is pleading the fifth. I ask you 5 questions, and you get to pass on one. Plead the fifth on one. If you do answer all 5, you get to ask any one of us a question that we must answer. So I doubt you'll answer all 5 because some of the fan questions were really tough. All right. First question.
You'll know why it was a good decision to get off social media before this.
First question. We obviously know about Rapinoe and Trump getting into it, and that had its own stories that took days and different routes. So, if Donald Trump was in a wall and you were gonna hit the kick, are you shooting it into the goal or are you trying to hit Trump?
Uh,
It's solidarity with Megan Rapinoe.
I think if I'm thinking about this, my brand, where am I going? Do I want followers? What do I want from this? Am I going to hit, I'm assuming I'm going to hit this free kick perfectly. I think I hit Trump, look at Pino, see what she does, and then immediately go look at my followers and see what gift I get from it. I'm a gift queen. I love seeing it. I think it's too hard to pass up.
Maybe you hit it just over Trump's head enough to nick his hair back a little bit, and then in the goal. Yeah.
It's a little bit like that. Yeah, I mean that's not a hard. We gotta nick the hair or maybe close my eyes and really nail it. So maybe it looks like an accident, but.
Fair enough. I should have put it on the line of you could win the World Cup with the shot or.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, these aren't that tough. Keep going.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see.
They get harder.
A little bit of revisionist history here. You obviously didn't play with Brianna Scurry, but or Hope Solo. I don't think.
No, I played with Hope for a year.
Oh, you did a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Who in their prime was the better goalie?
Who in their prime was the better goalie? I will say this. This is the one story I always tell people about Hope. I don't know if a lot of people know, she had a shoulder thing where like she eventually had to get surgery on it. But when she would lift her arms up, one arm was literally this much shorter. Okay. She was still making saves cross body. Like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because her shoulder arm couldn't
top end save.
Get there. And I was just like, I don't think she ever said anything about it. No one really knew that was a thing. But I remember seeing her in the training room one day, like trying to. I go, what's up? She goes, oh no, it's been like this for like almost a year, and I was just like, oh, and you're still making saves. So,
yeah, that's great. I feel like that Chilean goalie in the World Cup was out of this world.
Yeah, dude, that chick was sick. I don't care what anyone thinks.
She was ridiculous. She was ridiculous.
She could punt a mile. Like, I don't know. She was that girl is very good. She should come to the NWSL. Tell you what.
Where does she play? You don't know?
I actually don't know. I feel like someone told me that she might be in college.
Oh, really?
Somewhere playing.
Yeah, she was good. She
made a smart choice to avoid UVA. So you're selecting. So you're selecting Hope Solo.
Yes.
All right.
Short answer: Hope Solo.
Okay, we're gonna go into
2 for 2.
2 for 2. We're going into 2 fan questions, so I want no responsibility for if these come off to be extremely difficult. If you had to remove one person from the World Cup squad, who would it be?
If I had to remove one person.
And it can't be herself.
Right. And you'd have to replace her with somebody, as the question is the full question to its entirety.
Wow. Gotta throw one player under the bus. You better feel real good about this player.
Yeah, I know. I might have to plead the fifth on this one because the thing all the time we're 22 best
They're a
friends.
tight group, guys.
Like I said before, we were tight. Can't throw anyone under. It just wouldn't feel right. It wouldn't feel right.
Thank God, because I didn't want to have to answer a question.
Yeah, me neither. God, I needed that one.
Okay, thank you to that fan who wrote that question, and to this fan who wrote this question. All right, extreme hypothetical here. Would you rather have the equal pay structure or the bonus structure of the U.S. men's team had for the World Cup, or win the next 2 World Cups and be guaranteed a spot on the team?
Okay, so the first one is our current pay structure.
Correct.
Or
so you would have been rewarded what the men would have made had they won a World Cup, or you're guaranteed the next 2 World Cups and to win them.
So there's 2 options. 2 options, right?
Well, she has to choose one.
Right. Either one option is you're going to play in the next 2 World Cups guaranteed, or the other one is you're going to get all the bonus money for this World Cup, which I'm pretty sure is over $1 million per person on the.
Do you want $1 million or 2 more World Cups?
Yeah, no, boys. I know what I'm hearing here.
Yeah, just jab the knife in her back a little bit harder.
I don't know. I'm just thinking about career-wise. you're telling me that my knees are going to last that long. So
Yep.
sometimes you have to be selfish. I'm going to push towards the 2 World Cups and
I love
winning them.
because I think
That's
that I think you can spin zone this. I think you can
Yeah.
win him and then be in the future, the CBA and all that, be rewarded, fair and competent. So
Yeah, I definitely have to go towards that side. That was
Dang,
that was a
6
hard
figures.
one.
Just
Someone-
let it
you
go.
didn't write that?
Huh?
You didn't write
6
that?
figures,
I-
7.
7, sorry. 7.
Yeah.
Barely 7, but yeah, 7.
7's
yeah.
still 7.
You didn't
That
write
is-
that? That was a fan?
No, that was a fan one.
That was 2 fan votes or 2 fan questions.
Yeah,
That was
fans
actually
are
kind of nice. Yeah, I think they, after what's happened over the last few episodes, they've really come in hot with some questions. And so I feel like my job's easy these days. I just ask them. All right, we'll drop off to a lighter one. If you could pick the next U.S. women's coach after obviously Joe stepping down, who would you select and why?
I've actually, what's so funny, I really haven't heard much. I know we have to get we have to select a GM, and then we have to have coach, so on and so forth. I know some of the girls we've talked, I look up to Becky Sauerbrunn. I think she's so good. She's had the same college coach, we go through, and I now get to play with her and see. She had Blacko. He currently coaches Seattle. He played center back, and what I've seen him do with her and a lot of the player development, with some of the other players, that he's had, like internationals, I think has been like incredible. And I've only heard great things about him. So that's it. I always say, before I'm done, I hope I get coached by Blacko. He's a great guy. And I think what he's done, obviously I've just been super focused on how Becky's development is and like what I can take from her. And Blacko's been a huge part. So I think that'd be a great option, or a very cool option for Emily Sonnett.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, to hear that. I'm sure Mark Parsons, the Thorns coach, was going to be pleasant to hear that. But
No, Mark's great. Mark's great.
yeah, retreat. Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Retreat. Yeah, Mark's great. No.
He's good too.
I think I do really think it's cool that I feel spoiled that I've only had one club, one coach, to learn from. And I'm really thankful that it's worked out for, the 4 years hopefully going to my 5th year. I can stay at a great club, great coaching, staff, GM, and obviously the fans. Everyone talks about the Portland fans, but I feel very thankful and very an owner and very, I always tell people all the time, I go, I'm very spoiled, and I know it, that I've been at such a great organization and having the coaching staff that I've had.
Yeah. Well, you heard it here first. Blacko for U.S. Women's National Team coach. Ike, is that it?
There's
That's
one
it.
more,
You're
right?
off. 5.
No?
that was 5. Yeah, you're up.
Congratulations.
We
You are.
didn't get. We wanted to ask you what's the best story that no one has heard from the World Cup.
Oh, okay. This is Sal's plead the 5th question.
Well, Ike was like, "Don't ask her. I'm gonna ask her," and then he didn't. So.
The segment is the segment's done. So I'm now bowing out in case this goes south. So
No, just a good story that no one knows about.
A good story. The one with us sneaking out and trying to like go through the festival was a good one. I'm trying to think a good story that no one knows about. I'm trying to think of like a bus ride or like I'll tell you what. It's not a great story, so don't get too excited. It was just absolutely incredible how many times we would try to start like the no baguette challenge of like just not eating the baguettes, and we failed miserably. Like it wouldn't even last a day because the bread was so good, and we were at one point like everyone was just inhaling baguettes, and we were just like we have to stop, like because once you're in that regimen of like you're only playing games, you have recovery, you know what I mean, like you're not really working out that much. So at one point we all looked at each other, we're like, we're not stopping, and we just ate tons of baguettes. Like if I wish I could have told you like a number,
I would have gained a lot of weight. I'm a huge bread guy. So.
Yeah, same here. That's all I eat. That's all I eat for breakfast.
Baguettes of fire.
Bagels, baguettes, croissants.
I sensed that
Crepes.
from you guys before even meeting you. I was like, these guys must be bread guys.
Well, Benny once ate he once ate a dessert crepe for breakfast day of a game
all the time.
in New York. So
There was nothing else to eat, dude. I had to.
ice cream at 10:30 a.m. Benny.
I got a funny
What
story.
else could I do?
Just a little funny story about Betty. We were walking through the airport one time looking for breakfast food, and I think it was like an Arby's or something.
Arby's.
We walked by an Arby's, and he goes, "I wouldn't eat at Arby's if I was on an island starving by myself." And I go, "Okay." And literally, we walked five more restaurants, walked right back, and he's like, "Oh, Arby's has this? Oh yeah, let's go eat here."
I think it was even different. Benny's crushing Arby's.
Yeah.
He's absolutely crushing it. We go to like the bathroom, come out.
Yeah,
and we
he's
look
got
over,
Arby's back.
he's in Arby's in the line.
Arby's.
You're an Arby's guy.
There was nothing else. I was starved.
That's what I wish I could have said about the baguettes. I'm telling you, there was so much food options. We had a chef. Like, it was incredible. We had vegetables. We had this. We had that. And we are just there sitting, eating baguettes, putting butter on it, jam.
I love that.
You know, you're hitting like day 30, day 40 of camp, and you're just like, baguettes is probably the
Yeah,
only
I'm throwing
thing that will bring
cream
you
cheese
happiness.
on there, but I love it.
You
Have a
would
suitcase
get
in a hotel
yeah.
for that long is brutal, man. It really is. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think we did the math. It was just like 9 hotels. You know, I felt bad for the not felt bad, but like the support staff that just had to pack everything up, put it on. You know, thankfully we didn't have to fly. We just bus everywhere. So I think that kind of helped.
That is nice.
It was a lot of movement. A lot of movement.
Nice. I think that's all we got for you, Emily. Anything else, boys?
No, that was good.
You're good
Thanks
sport.
for being on, Emily. We appreciate it.
Well, that was awesome, Emily Sonnett. It was a pleasure having you on the podcast. We thank her and all the stories that she brought on. Real eye opener, huh, Sal?
Yeah, some interesting tidbits. It was cool to see how much of a team they really were throughout that whole process. And yeah, I mean, it's weird, when you play on teams, there's always a sense of you wanting to be on the field. But I think during a World Cup, and you can kind of attest to this, you're just happy to be there, and you want your team to win. And I feel like the ultimate support for other players.
No, yeah, I agree. I think that there is definitely a sense to that. Once you're on the team, you want the team to succeed. But, man, I still think it's special the way that they were, so joined together in every aspect, not only on the field, off the field, all kinds of things swirling around the team, and they were just really tightly knit. So I think that was, in the end, something that might have been the most important thing for that team. So congratulations to them, and thank you, Emily, for coming on the show and sharing all her stories. Again, subscribe on Apple Podcast, yell or stream on TuneIn, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play. Rate and comment on Instagram and Twitter, and email us your thoughts on Benny Sal, the podcast, @gmail.com. Thank you for all the fan questions. We used 2 of them this week, and one of them actually was the one that stumped Emily. So big time there. And please let us know also what you think of the new logo that we have for the show. And as always, share with all your friends and buddies, and continue to. We're trying to continue to expand the podcast. So thank you again for all the love, and continue to share it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening, as always.
See you next time.